The HOA president used a drone to spy on my wife. I smashed it with a pool skimmer. The letter felt too heavy for a single sheet of paper. Not because of the thick cardstock or the embossed Oak Creek Estates seal, but because of what it meant. I stood at the end of my driveway in the humid Florida heat, staring at the fine print now costing me $200. Violation: unauthorized landscaping debris behind the HVAC unit. Section 4, paragraph B. Fine, $100. Violation: non-compliant pool towel, blue, draped over patio furniture. Section 9, paragraph C. Fine, $100. I read it again, then a third time. My blood started to heat up, matching the temperature of the asphalt beneath my feet. I walked around the side of my house to the gate. It was a 6-foot privacy fence. I had built it myself 2 years ago specifically to keep prying eyes out. I unlocked the padlock, a heavy-duty master lock that only I had the key to, and stepped into the backyard. I walked to the HVAC unit. It sits in a narrow alleyway between the side of the house and the fence. There is maybe 3 feet of clearance. To see behind it, you have to be standing physically inside my yard, squeezed against the siding. I looked down. There, hidden in the shadows, was a small pile of dead leaves. Maybe a handful. Then I walked to the pool deck. My wife's blue towel was draped over the back of a chaise lounge. I looked at the fence. It was 6 feet tall. I am 6'2". Even if I stood on my tiptoes on the other side, I couldn't see the pool deck. And the HVAC unit, that was physically impossible to see from the street, from the neighbor's yard, or even from the roof. Unless someone was inside my perimeter. I felt a cold prickle of violation crawl up my spine. This wasn't just a fine. This was a breach. Someone had been in my yard. Someone had unlocked my gate, squeezed behind my air conditioner, and taken notes. I marched back through the house, grabbed my keys, and drove the 3 blocks to the HOA president's house. Richard was the kind of man who wore polo shirts tucked into khaki shorts with a braided leather belt. He measured grass height with a ruler. He had once fined a family because their child's chalk drawing on the driveway stayed there for more than 24 hours. I hammered on his door. It took him a minute. When he opened it, he was holding a glass of iced tea, looking smug and unbothered. Roger, he nodded. I assume you got the notice. Prompt payment avoids late fees. How did you see it? I asked. My voice was low, trembling with the effort to not reach across the threshold and rattle him. Excuse me. The leaves, I said, stepping closer. Behind my AC unit. How did you see them, Richard? The fence is locked. The gate is padlocked. Unless you hopped the fence, you couldn't see that debris. Richard took a sip of his tea. He smiled. It was a tight, bureaucratic smile. We have our methods, Roger. The Architectural Control Committee conducts thorough inspections. Your methods involve trespassing. I snapped. If I find out you or one of your minions hopped my fence, I'm filing charges. Richard laughed. It was a dry, dismissive sound. Don't be dramatic. Nobody entered your property. We only observe from public areas or areas where we have a legal easement. Maybe you should focus less on conspiracy theories and more on maintaining your home values. It is physically impossible to see that from a public area, I hissed. Maybe you have gaps in your fence, he shrugged. Fix those, or I'll fine you for that too. Now, get off my porch. It's dinner time. He closed the door in my face. I stood there, staring at the wood grain, my heart hammering against my ribs. He was lying. I knew he was lying, but I couldn't prove it. I drove home, the anger simmering in my gut like a pot left on the boil. I spent the next 3 days paranoid. I checked the fence for gaps. I checked the dirt for footprints. Nothing. Then came Saturday. It was a perfect day. The sky was a brilliant, aching blue. My wife, Sarah, was lounging on the pool float, reading a book. I was skimming the leaves out of the deep end, enjoying the rhythmic swish-swish of the net in the water. It was quiet, peaceful, and then I heard it. At first, I thought it was a mosquito. A high-pitched, annoying whine near my ear. I swatted at the air. Bzzzzzzzzzzzzz. It got louder. It wasn't organic. It was mechanical. It sounded like a weed whacker running in the distance, but sharper. I looked up. What is that? Sarah asked, lowering her book and shading her eyes against the sun. I scanned the sky. Then I saw it. What happens next isn't just a confrontation. It is the collision of modern technology and primal territorial defense. You see, Richard thinks he's found the ultimate loophole. By the time this afternoon is over, Richard isn't going to be worrying about my property values. He's going to be worrying about a federal investigation into his hard drives. For full video follow on screen instructions.